Hey there, I hope this works this time. Sorry, I had some technical trouble the last time, so I'm just attempting this stream again. I will explain to you, first of all, what I'm going to do. If you're watching this on the replay, I'm just going to basically, I'm just going to cover my normal SEO for Etsy topic first of all, and then we'll get into the more live stuff. So if you've got questions and anything, if you can just hang on. If you type them up, I'll be able to catch them as they come past live. But if you can just hang off, and I'll do the questions at the end if we've got any, or if anyone joins us. I'm not even sure if this is connecting properly. It's a bit of a pain. But if you're new here, if you've never seen me before, Mondays I do videos for SEO for Etsy sellers, for small crafters and small business shop owners. On fidget, I would normally cut that out. On Wednesday I do product reviews for my felting supplies, and on Thursdays I'm doing needle felting tutorials, and just now we're on a step-by-step of the needle felted dragon. He's behind me here for moral support. Yeah, so if you're interested in all of that, then please give us a subscribe, come back for whatever days you're interested in. Right, I am just checking to see if this is actually going live. I'm not entirely sure. I've been having some technical difficulties, but anyway, we'll go ahead and hopefully people will come in at some point. I actually have my computer down here. This is a bit crazy. I couldn't get my webcam to stream for me, so I'm streaming on my phone and sitting watching on my computer. But hopefully everything is going live here and working. We'll see. It looks like it's working. That's all I can go on. Right, so today's topic I just wanted to talk about is the many hats of being an Etsy seller. So basically, I remember way back in 2008 when I started my Etsy shop, I really thought that basically you just create stuff, post it, and people will buy it. I thought that the difficult thing was creating things. I thought as soon as you put it up, people would come along, it would be absolutely no problem, things would just sell. I didn't know there was so many other tasks that you had to have, so many other job roles that you had to have. It's actually kind of amusing because it's rather like YouTube, where just now I'm trying to be IT tech support and failing miserably. Earlier on, running around trying to sort out lights because my house is really dark, and actually just now my main lights keep fusing. I've got someone to check on that soon, but trying to set up lighting, you've got to do your own research for the videos and everything. So it's so similar actually with Etsy. So just wanted to talk about all the different hats you need to have on if you want to be a seller on Etsy. Oh, I can see myself on the computer now. That's rather weird, but at least I know it's working. It totally wasn't before. Okay, so I am just going to post that link over to social media right this minute, and then I will get back to you guys. This is why I don't like live streaming. There's so many things to be doing all at once. Right, there we go. So that's posted up. Okay, so if you... Where was I going to say there? That's really weird. Okay, so that's up and running. The stream is working and looks terrible. Isn't it always awful when you see yourself on camera? So if you haven't checked me out actually there, I was just posting up to Ben McFuzzylugs on Facebook, and if you'd like to give me a follow there, then that'll just I post when I'm uploading and everything my videos, so you get a chance to catch them in case YouTube doesn't inform you. Anyway, back to the content. Sorry if you've come here just for the content. Okay, so your first hat of being an Etsy seller is, of course, being the artist. If that's what you do, if you're a crafter, an artist, or whatever, your first job role is to actually create what you're creating. And I always thought this would be the biggest role ever. This would be the most amount of my time. And obviously it does take up a lot of time. If you watch my needle felting videos, you'll see needle felting is time consuming. So this is your job. This is also the same, say if you're a vintage seller or something, sourcing your products, buying your products. This is all what you thought your job would be. This is hat number 1, but this is only the beginning, sadly. It's not just make it and it will sell, find it and it will sell. There's so much more. Step number 2 is a photographer. Sounds fairly straightforward, but actually it's so important. I actually have a video for this if you want to check it out after we're finished here. Just the 5 best tips to being a great photographer, and just how it's so important for selling online. Because basically, if you look at the top shops selling in your niche on Etsy, look at the top sellers, and they always have stunning photographs, even if their products aren't so great. My mum's actually a knitter, and I'm not going to call out and be nasty about any knitters because I wouldn't do that, but we've gone through and looked at some knitting shops, and I have to admit, some of them, they're not that amazing. Like my mum's work's way better, but their photographs are just so amazing. They're so inspiring. They get pinned on Pinterest. They get shared with loads of people. And so even though it's not the best item in the world, it just looks great. I mean, I'm sure you've seen all these baby photographs of babies snuggled up in crocheted cocoons or something. If you just put up a picture of this cocoon just lying on a table and said, here we go, it's a knitted baby cocoon, come and buy it, compared to you get some great backdrop, you've got a cute baby, goodness knows how long it takes to get them to sleep like that and everything, you get the perfect angles, you get the most beautiful photograph, and then people aspire to want your product. That's a totally different thing and really awesome. So photographer is, I would say, the most important thing, because you can sell anywhere if you've got good pictures. You'll see lots of people that have terrible SEO, that they're doing everything else wrong, but if their pictures are stunning, then people will share them. And also really great pictures drive you greater money. People will pay more because they really want what you're selling. Oh, little note to myself of the things I've got to remember to say. But yeah, my first photographs were actually just in a cardboard box. Someone had spoke about a light box. I had no idea what that was. So I put my little dogs in a cardboard box and tried to take pictures of them. And it was terrible, but I've learned, we all learn. And you don't even need the most expensive equipment. You can do it with a decent phone, has like good cameras, but just think about how you're setting them up and everything. Okay, hat number 3, Nelly said 2. Hat number 3 is to be a promoter. Where to get it out? It's like working on the social media, talking to your friends, just getting out your item, getting out your name, getting your brand known to people. This is another really big thing, because if your name's known, if you have a brand, if you've promoted yourself nicely, then even though there is other people doing what you do, they'll come back to you because they know you and they like you. What number are we at now? 1, 2, 3... 4 or 5? 4, we'll say 4. Okay, another super important one, especially if you're a small shop, is search engine optimization optimizer. This is the biggest thing. If you want to get seen, before you've got a following, before you've built up your social media, before people know your name, then you have to get to the front page of Etsy searches in your category. And to get there, you have to know what you mean by SEO. You have to work on your tags and your titles and everything to make them really great. So these are all jobs in themselves. People are full-time in each of these categories, and SEO is such a massive one. So yeah, absolutely. SEO marketer, another hat. See, I should have brought hats down, but I don't have any hats because I've got a funny shaped head. I don't suit hats. Next hat, customer support. Big one that can take up a whole load of your time, especially when you're busy. And the run up to Christmas, I'll find not only are you busy with everything you've got to do, all your other hats you've got to wear, but the busier you are, the more people you've got wanting to talk to you about everything. You've got some people, and at a quiet time it's not a problem, but when you run off your feet and someone wants 10, 20 emails a day on the most little things, but you have to keep the good customer support, because actually if you check on some of the Etsy seller pages and things, people get really annoyed, or they're assuming the customers are trying to rip them off or anything. But I've found if you work with people, the most exacting people, it might be a bit stressful at the time, but if you can please them, then they come back to you again and again and again, and you understand what they're looking for better. They understand how to ask the questions to you better, so it becomes a much easier process for both of you. So just remember, really, really good customer support is so, so important. Quality control. A big one, because it can really affect your reviews if you're super busy and you miss something in shipping it out. So we've also got to be checking out before we send things out. Again, if it's vintage items, check them all over, obviously, to make sure that they are what you say they are. And if it's handmade, check everything before it goes out, because it's the silliest things that people get back to you on that you could have rectified before it left the door, but by the time it's in the customer's hands, then either you've got a really dissatisfied customer and you've got to do refunds, or you've got to return and send back and fix and everything, and all that's eaten up into your money, because then you're going to have to pay them. You've got to cover the cost of the shipping and everything because it was your mistake. So just spending that extra 5 minutes checking everything before you stick it in the box and mail it. Next hat, market research. Again, this is finding out if your items are wanted, finding out what the sensible price range for them is, looking for trends, keeping on top of what's coming up next, not resting on your laurels. Again, it's not just a case of make this thing, keep on making it, and it's going to sell forever. Unfortunately, what happens, what we could have happening is trends change with time. So if you open your shop and you're making, what was it, like last year was owls or something, and you're making these fantastic great owls that no one's seen before, in 3 years' time, everybody's making them and nobody wants owls anymore. So you've got to keep ahead of everything, or at least keep up with the trends. There's no point being behind the trends when everyone's fed up with it. Excuse me. Your next hat is stockkeeper. This is actually a really big one. Coming up to Christmas and things, it can be really annoying. You've got everything lined up and you find out you're short of shipping boxes, or you've run out of tape, or you've run out of bubble wrap. Also, if you're making custom things, making sure that you've still got all the stock, so when orders come in, you can make it and you don't have to wait to ship things. I mean, I used to be ordering eyes from America, and sometimes they would take quite a bit of time to come, which is fine if you're not that busy, but if you've just suddenly had a rush order and you're a bit behind, it's a bit of a pain. But what I do want to say is, don't worry about trying to get all of these hats totally right. don't leave opening up your shop until you've got everything sorted, because we'll never be perfect. You want to be thinking on learning all the time, just improve one little thing at a time. So list what you've got, work with what you've got, and then work on your next listing being better and your next photograph being better, and just always constantly improving, constantly learning, constantly building up a better system than what you had before. Although we need to do all of these hats all at once, we don't have to be perfect at them, because it's so difficult to please everybody, to get everything perfectly right all in one go. Just realise that what you did today is not going to be as good as what you'll do next year, and what you do next year won't be as good as what you'll do the year after. Constant improvement, and your customers will love you for that as well, if they're getting better service each time they come back. So be aware all these hats exist. You have to be all of these people all at once, unless you can afford staff. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? But you have to do all of these things. These are all things that you need to learn to work on. So just be aware of that, work on it, and hopefully you'll get better and better at it. My computer's flashing at me. This is a bit annoying. Right, so thank you for joining me for that. If that's all you're here for on the repeat, you can leave now. That's cool. All right, so just want to do a wee roundup from what we had last week and what we're going to be doing in the coming up week. So obviously last week our Monday SEO was about our Google product ads on Etsy Worth It. I've been running a trial, I think it's about 6 weeks on that, and I just wanted to show you what it was like for me, how much it cost me, what kind of statistics and feedback it gives you, and if it was making me any money, if it was worth it, comparing it to the Etsy promoted listings. On Wednesday, I did a review of, what did I actually do a review of? I'm so organised, am I? This is hard. See, I would normally cut this. Wednesday, yes, I did a review of the paver pole. This is a fabric stiffener that I've been using. I've known about it for about 15 years, but I've only finally got it to work. So check out my review and see what you think of that. And on Thursday, we were doing a bit more work on my dragon with the paver pole. See, I made his little feet here, which I am so happy with how the talons have worked out. So what's coming up for this week? Well, firstly, I am attempting, as you've seen, I've done the Etsy tips video all in one with this live stream. The idea was for us to be on long enough that hopefully, because I know last time people said I'd left too quick. They were coming on and they hadn't heard about the live stream yet, so I thought I'd leave that running for a little while. So that's the interest point for the people who come and catch it up on the replay, but it also gives people a chance to come in. But I am not entirely sure how well that's working. I had some technical difficulties. I came onto the stream late and it doesn't really appear like we've got a whole lot of people joining us, but it's cool. It's still, actually, it's a whole lot easier for me while I'm still learning these things, because I'm hoping in a couple of weeks I'll have the setup with a webcam even better. But yes, on a tangent, rein yourself in, Pam. Yeah, so I just want to know if you would prefer me putting everything in all at once so that you come back and you can watch the actual video, or you prefer a properly filmed video like I'd been doing in previous Mondays. I can easily do the two videos at once. I don't need sleep. Or if you're happy with me to cover it with the live stream. And on Wednesday, I have got a fibre review for us all, and sneak peek, it's going to be the fibre that I'm using for the dragon. Now, that's a terrible colour match I'm seeing on the screen. It's actually quite a red purple, I would say. It's actually closer to how the colour of my hair is coming out on screen, and it really is quite a nice iridescent colour. So come back on Wednesday and hear all about that, see where I got this from, not sponsored, and what I'm thinking of the product and how I'm finding it. And on Thursday with the dragon, we're going to be seeing how I completed making his feet. There's some really nice, which way, there we go, some really nice felting tips for how to get the toenails coming out of his toes, sculpting his feet, covering his legs. That'll be my Thursday video. Yeah, so so that's my plans for the week ahead. If you just let me know what you think of the live videos. I know not many people have actually got on this time. I'm not sure what I'm not sure where it's been pushed or if this is a bad time for everybody, but that's cool. As I say, it's less pressure on me if there's not a ton of people here while I'm learning this. As I said, I'm trying to set up so I can run this with my webcam. The thought behind that is at this stage, then as I'm sitting looking on my computer, I'll be able to actually go and visit your shops and give you a live review of your shops if that's something you would be interested in. Hopefully it'd be kind of helpful. Just a quick review, me looking at your shops, telling you a couple of ways that you could improve things, and hopefully just giving you a bit of publicity to other people. And if there is any questions that people want to come in with, or any ideas what they see for new videos. But anyway, I think 22 minutes or so is quite enough time of me waffling on. Thank you so much if you joined me in the replay. I will have to figure out what is going on with the technical problems. It's been a bit rubbish. So the first one wasn't streaming at all, and now this one seems to be a little bit on the dead side. But anyway, it's all learning. As I said, you don't have to fill every hat perfectly, and so I just have to strive to make my next video better than my last. But thanks for joining me just now anyway.